like you. Be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Diorpop. Purple Heart. Have you ever felt the kind of silence that speaks louder than noise? The kind of waiting that stretches so long, it becomes part of your heart. Today, that silence finally breaks. BTS is back, not with chaos or spectacle, but with something far more powerful: honesty. After time apart, personal journeys, and quiet growth, they return as artists who have lived, felt, and loved more deeply than ever before. This isn't just an album comeback. It's a story told through melodies, pauses, and emotions left between the lines. A story many believe is inspired by Jungkook's journey of love, not loudly revealed, but gently woven into every note. In this video, we're not chasing rumors. We're listening. Listening to what the music whispers, to what the lyrics dare to feel, and to how BTS invites us into a space that feels intimate, mature, and real. So take a breath. Let the noise fade. And stay with us here at Diorpop as we explore the meaning behind BTS's return and the emotions they chose to share with the world. BTS's return is more than just good news for the global music industry. It feels like a long breath finally released after the world has waited in silence. After a period of pause, individual responsibilities, and deeply personal journeys walked by each member, BTS stands together once again as one. But this time, they return carrying something deeper, more mature, and more honest. Their much-talked-about latest album is said to be inspired by Jungkook's journey of love, an emotional story not openly displayed, but quietly felt through melodies, lyrics, and the atmosphere flowing through every track. From the very beginning, BTS has been known as a group unafraid to weave personal stories into their work. From youthful anxieties and inner wounds to the long process of learning how to love oneself, everything has always been delivered through sincere musical language. Now, as they return as grown men with more complex life experiences, that emotional color has shifted. This album is described as a reflection of an inner journey, not only about romantic love, but about loyalty, longing, sacrifice, and the courage to keep choosing someone even when the world is not always kind. Jungkook's name emerging as the core inspiration is no coincidence. As the youngest member who grew up under the public spotlight from an early age, Jungkook lived through phases of life few people ever experience normally. Yet, it is precisely within those limitations that emotional depth was born. Leaks suggest that many songs on this album are written from the perspective of someone learning how to love slowly, without spectacle, without public acknowledgement, only quiet honesty carefully preserved. One track is described as having a soft acoustic tone, opening with simple guitar plucks and Jungkook's voice nearly reduced to a whisper. The lyrics mention no names, offer no explicit details, yet they make listeners feel as if they are peeking into the most private pages of a diary. There are lines about waiting behind the stage, rereading short messages over and over, and promises to return once everything is over. This song is said to be the heart of the album, the place where the purest emotions are allowed to breathe. The album is also rumored to showcase more intimate harmonies among the members. Jimin, with his emotionally rich vocal color, is said to be the perfect balance to Jungkook. In several tracks, their voices seem to chase one another, as if holding a conversation without needing explicit words. Many interpret this as a symbol of a deep emotional bond, two souls growing together, understanding each other without needing explanations. With no confirmations required, listeners are left free to interpret the meaning through their own experiences. Musically, the album does not attempt to chase trends. Instead, BTS chooses a calmer yet refined path. Soft R&B touches, alternative pop, and slowly built ballads shape the soundscape. Each song feels like a chapter in a love journey, from awkward first encounters and quietly growing closeness, to inner conflict and mature acceptance. Jungkook is said to be directly involved in the production process, ensuring that every note truly represents the emotions being conveyed. What makes this album even more compelling is the way BTS presents it to the public. There are no excessive teasers, no cheap sensationalism. Instead, hints appear through fragments of lyrics shared subtly, concept photos bathed in dim lighting, and short interviews filled with meaningful pauses. It is as if BTS is saying that this time, they want to be listened to, not merely seen. ARMY around the world responds with the same emotional resonance. Many feel they have grown alongside BTS, and this album feels like a mirror of their own journeys. Love that is not always perfect, distances that separate, and the hope to endure, everything feels close to home. Through this work, Jungkook does not appear as a distant idol standing high on a stage, but as an ordinary human learning to understand his own feelings. BTS's return through this album also marks a new phase in their career. This is not about proving popularity, but about legacy. About how music can become a safe space to store stories that cannot be spoken aloud. About how love, no matter its form, will always deserve to be told honestly. At the end of the album, there is a closing track said to be the most touching of all. It is not grand, not filled with heavy instrumentation, just piano and bare vocals left completely exposed. The lyrics speak of coming home, of someone finally returning after a long journey, carrying wounds, memories, and a love that remains intact. Many believe this is BTS's message to ARMY, that no matter how far they go, the music and emotions they share will always find their way home. BTS returns, not as legends trying to repeat the past, but as artists brave enough to open a new chapter. This latest album, inspired by Jungkook's journey of love, stands as proof that emotional honesty will always have a place in listeners' hearts. And when music is filled with real feeling, the world will pause, if only for a moment, to listen. And in the end, BTS doesn't return to remind us how big they are. They return to remind us how human they are. This album is not about perfection. It's about choosing honesty over noise, feeling over performance, and love over fear. Through every melody and quiet lyric, we're reminded that growth doesn't happen loudly. It happens when no one is watching. Jungkook's journey, woven softly into this music, isn't presented as a confession. It's an echo, one that lingers long after the song ends, inviting us to reflect on our own stories of waiting, choosing, and holding on. And maybe that's why BTS's return feels so powerful. Because it doesn't ask us to scream or rush. It simply asks us to listen. Thank you for sharing this moment with us here at Diorpop. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, keep listening, keep feeling, and let the music guide you home.